Count two.
Gentlemen, you are given your instructions in the dressing room. Estás recibiendo sus instrucciones en el camerino. Toque de guantes.
Ready to go here in our first fight of the night. Closed captioning is available for tonight's telecast. If you'd like to hear the broadcast in Spanish, you can click over to the simulcast on Fox Deportes. Lennox Allen with the chance of a lifetime, 22-0-1, but again, he is 35. He has fought sporadically over the last 16 years and put it against David Morrell, again, sparkling amateur career in Cuba as an amateur. Joe Goosen, 135-2, man.
Yeah, that's almost impossible to do, you know. But if Allen can get through these first few rounds and drag Morrell into the deep waters, he may have a shot. But Morrell is really a power puncher.
Lennox Lewis was an Olympic gold medalist in 1988. Lennox, how ready were you at 2-0 as a pro?
I was really ready, and you know, I just wanted to get in there and prove myself. And you know, for David Morrell, he's a good, sharp puncher.
All right, I'll go for it, Lennox. There you go. Just
David Morrell, again, you see in the black trunks, Lennox Allen in the purple, and Lennox, again, 22-0-1 out of Brooklyn. And just one of these tough guys, been in the gym a long time, gets top sparring.
Well, he's not only fought 3 rounds total as a pro, but, you know, you have to remember, an amateur fight is 3 rounds. He's really never been past 3 rounds in his life.
Look at this fusillade right now. Look at Morrell go to work. Fast hands. Round number 1, David Morrell, Lennox Allen here in LA.
Here was the early part of the round right here. Morrell leads with a right hook to the head and then a good body shot, which landed with his left hand. Now these are going to bounce off a lot of his gloves, except right there.
Lennox Allen, as well as he was able to weather that storm because Morrell is very fluid. Heidi Androl is here, Marcos Villegas, as well as here as our unofficial scorer.
Let Morrell shoot off some steam. He said in the fighter meetings that's what he intended to do.
You come into this thinking, well, you know, he's not supposed to do that, but I am surprised by that. Titanic, Joe and Lennox. How about that?
2 already Morrell has for different offenses. Now Morrell's got, you know, Jamal James's trainers, and they're experienced guys, so they're going to make sure he doesn't shoot all of his energy off early in this fight, that he saves some for the later rounds.
See, right there, Morrell is doing some great work on the ropes. He's keeping Lennox on the ropes.
Final 15 seconds of round number 3.
He escaped at 5 a.m. via speedboat, ended up in Mexico, where he spent 18 months to establish residency. He said he left his entire life behind, including his mother, and one of his biggest regrets was not being able to say goodbye to his older brother, Rafael. As a consequence for David defecting, unfortunately, the Cuban government put a stop to his brother's boxing career. No tournaments, anything. He says he does this for his family in hopes of a reunion here one day.
And he's working with established pros.
And he's not getting hit with no silly shots, and he's throwing some great combinations.
Let's go to Marcos Villegas, who is our unofficial scorer, broadcasters, and at a certain point you start thinking, all right.
Showing the experience factor, just rough him up a little bit, push him around.
He's really blocking 4 out of 5 punches.
They'll touch Allen on the way out. Allen, though, with a good spirit, uppercuts again, doubling up on the uppercut is Morrell. And Allen moves in again, trying to make the round a little more competitive. Morrell now letting it fly.
To go 12 rounds at this point, the way he's fighting, because he's really letting his hands go. He's not trying to be conservative with his output.
Then it's an easy fight for you.
Go back to round 5, Joe.
All right, well, this is where Morrell starts doing some good work there. He landed that 1-2-3, nice left uppercut. End of the last round, they butted heads again.
That's the only 2 sharp I knew, Joe. Right. You go back longer than I do.
Yeah, too sharp Jack Johnson.
There's a lot of time. You know, you'll have trainers tell you all the time. It's a long, long time in there. And
absolutely. And if Lennox wants to...
Goosen, Lennox Lewis, Heidi Androl, Marcos Villegas, our unofficial scorer, and we're seeing a nice display.
Pretty amazing conditioning.
Ooh, good shot right there. A tag with the left hand. Uppercuts and hooks from David Morrell.
And the other thing was when he lost to the gold medal, when a counter punch he's always looking for is that right hook.
Uppercuts again and a left hook. Able to step out of danger, make a miss. Really effective with that uppercut.
Shot is like giving you 3 light ones and then come.
In Minnesota, what did you think of that, Joe, Lennox? He then can go on the attack as he is right here, able to press forward here in round 10. Deep waters for both fighters. Morrell now throws his own body attack.
Yeah, he got the orders to go out there and start putting some hurt on Allen. Very valuable to have as an experience factor.
Jabs, straight lefts, watch that. With the left, uppercuts, David Morrell.
In the 80s, and Fernando Vargas, who won it in his 15th. Fennec in
The other side, not leaving it in the middle so he gets caught.
Allen with some strafing.
Yeah,
Doesn't
normally
seem like he's tired, so I think we should get some little fireworks in this last round.
And as we've seen, Joe, Lennox Allen is capable. What? You got to let him back down.
Morrell has taken his best shots early when Allen was strong and brushed it off. Yep.
We mentioned Callum Smith is the Ring Magazine champ at 168. There's David Benavides and Morrell. Joe, what do you think? Not so far away, huh?
10 seconds.
Now Allen does.
10 seconds.
Final seconds, final shot.
Stop. Time.
All three in favor of the winner. He is still undefeated. He is now the interim WBA super middleweight world champion, David Morrell Jr.
Welcome guys, thanks for joining me again in this update. I hope you're all well. So guys, the fight involving David Morrell Jr. and Lennox Allen was a 12-round interim WBA Championship fight. This fight took place in Los Angeles, USA, and was David's first true test in the pros against another undefeated but more experienced opponent. He got the win, but what is slightly more important and is my focus in the video is the fact that I believe David Morrell Jr. represents the new age Cuban boxer. Now, David Morrell Jr., like many Cuban boxers, has an interesting story. He was born and raised in Cuba, and as a boxer, this means that you are training under the National Cuban School of Boxing system. This system is a highly proficient and regimented system that is uniquely the world's best amateur training system for amateur boxing at the highest level, so the World Championships and the Olympic Games. Yes guys, better than the US and UK training systems. Now before you guys get into a strop, because I know that's what you're going to do, I suggest you go and look up the medal tables for the World Championships and the Olympic Games from 1968 till today. That's actually the date when Cuba joined amateur boxing. Now with Morrell as an amateur, he was able to win the Youth World Championships and the Cuban National Championships in 2016 and 2017 respectively. He has a record of 130 plus wins and only 2 losses. One of his losses was to 2-time Olympic gold medalist Julio Cesar La Cruz, and it was by no means a one-sided affair. So as you can see in these clips, David had a similar sense of showboating and style in the amateurs to that which you can see him perform with today as a pro. Now Morrell defected to Mexico in 2017 and began his pro career in the US in 2019. Now David Morrell Jr. is particularly different from most other Cuban boxers because most boxers before could only defect under the strict Cuban communist regime if they were able to do so during major international competitions like the Olympic Games or the World Championships. So we're talking about boxers that would remain as amateurs longer than they would want, so therefore boxers that are older and more conditioned to the 3 rounds of amateur boxing. In addition to this, to avoid the suspicion of possible defection, they would begin the transition phase to the pros only once they have defected. Also, once they leave Cuba and embark on this journey to box in a foreign country, they do so without their family. This is why pro boxing has not really seen the talent of Cuban boxing, other than the Cuban Olympians, which is less than 1% of all Cuban boxers, and consequently this is the reason why most people believe that all Cubans box in a fleet-footed style. In Cuba, you can find boxers that fight with the same Cuban technique, but in a more aggressive US or Mexican style. The important caveat is the presence of the Cuban technique. These boxers would naturally take well to the challenges of pro boxing. Despite the successes of older Cuban Olympians in the pros, I would still say that they fought with many of the disadvantages that David has been able to avoid. So he still carries an incredible amateur pedigree at the national level from the world elite Cuban School of Boxing system. However, he doesn't have the same mileage as his native Olympians. He did not start his pro transition late, and rather than being older with a conditioned amateur style, he's a young fighter who has a great aggressive yet technical style for the pros. He's currently in the light heavyweight division, where his opponents are boxers such as Beterbiev, Bivol and Benavidez. This is an interesting division to look out for, and this young Cuban maestro is definitely one to watch. Like always, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Anyway guys, that's all for now. I really hope you've enjoyed watching the video. Please remember to smash the like button if you have enjoyed watching this particular update. Remember to leave a comment in the comment section if you want to add anything about David Morrell Jr. So until my next one, peace out.